Well, here we are in the middle of a minefield, surrounded by Khmer Rouge.
Right.
What the hell are we doing here? I asked myself.
We're making people learn about it.
Absolutely, yeah. Why are we here? Well, we're here because we knew nothing about the problem of anti-personnel mines up until about a month ago. Having read a great deal about it through Oxfam, who asked us to come, and we were asked to make a voyage of discovery. And so what you'll see on screen is not what you usually see with us, and that is acting in front of the cameras, but you'll see us reacting to what we see. And that will be quite a new departure for us, and with some trepidation, may I tell you, but the journey is going to be quite an interesting one. Arriving in Cambodia, you're quickly aware of certain things. The diversity and vitality of the country. An energy that's generating new growth and prosperity. You're also constantly struck by the sheer splendour of the Khmer culture, the warmth and welcome of the people, and the beauty of the surrounding landscape. But underlying everything are the constant reminders of the war that devastated Cambodia, culminating in the time of Pol Pot, the horrific killing fields, and the virtual destruction of the country. Today, the capital, Phnom Penh, is a bustling city with new investment and thriving trade. But the appalling legacy of the war is still evident. The war may have officially ended, but every single day, the land continues to fight the people of Cambodia. Much of the fight with a hidden enemy, landmines. It's estimated there are 7 million anti-personnel mines already in the ground in Cambodia, lying in wait. Early on, we were taken to Battambang province, which is the rice bowl of Cambodia. It's also one of the most heavily mined areas of the country. You see, landmines deny people a right to a livelihood, the right to earn a living from their own land. It's estimated that 30% of fertile land in Cambodia lies uncultivated because of landmines. Now, it's true to say, the prospect of actually visiting a minefield is daunting. I won't deny it. But there was some comfort in the fact that we were with the experts, the Mines Advisory Group.
We are surrounded by mines, but it's not a thick barrier minefield. That's what's unusual about Cambodia. There aren't patterned minefields so much. It's sporadic minefields. In all these areas here, you wouldn't want to walk off the roads here at all. There are mines here. We're finding mines every day in this area. These weapons are no longer in the preserve of the military. They're affecting normal people. They're affecting civilians. They're not affecting the military. The military packed up. They put their weapons away. They've gone home. The war's ended maybe 5 years ago. In a country like Laos, 30 years ago, they were dropped, the weapons. And now people are reaping the cruel harvest, if you like, of a past war. It's utterly unacceptable. And the victims are individuals. They're family members. They're civilians. They're not combatants. And this is the important message people need to realize. It's a very sordid and pathetic sight to see a young child who's a herder, who's herding cattle through a field and having his body ripped apart from a mine laid from a forgotten time, from a war that he doesn't even know about. It's a cruel and heartless weapon, it's a cowardly weapon, and we can't turn them off.
I think, to me, one of the most extraordinary things to come out of it is the idea that I tread on grass, I walk on Hampstead Heath with never a care in the world, and perhaps I won't ever do that again without being grateful for it. It's like 90% of the population of England, and the thought of a landmine never crossed my mind. Why should it? It doesn't affect my life. It's something that is planted in a distant land to deter soldiers, we thought. Now I know that landmines are actually used to ring the civilian population, to terrorize the civilian population, and even when wars are over, they're still being laid. They're still being laid here.
Villages are separated from one another because of mines. Roads can't be used because of mines. Riverbanks can't be used for fishing. Fields can't be used for cultivation. Development is about people. Development is about people developing the capacity to survive in fairly harsh climates. Mines are surrounding these people wherever they turn. Every aspect of their development is being interfered with by mines in a horrifying way. That's just at the structural level. At the personal level, it's horrifying what it's doing to families. It's ripping families apart with husbands, wives, children getting maimed or killed by mines. And of course that has economic ramifications right the way down the line.
During the Pol Pot years, families were split up and displaced. The traditional system of support from community elders, monks and teachers disappeared. And trust, so important, trust between people was lost. And John Fay is the director of the Cambodian Family Development Service, an Oxfam-funded community organisation in Battambang. As the name suggests, Cambodian Family Development Service is all about rebuilding the essential unit of the family. It's inspiring confidence, trust and security, making solid foundations on which the returning Cambodian people can begin to build new villages, new communities.
Our country is still in some kind of war, if not a full scale of war. So I believe that the issue of landmine, it's going to be always one of the issue in Cambodia. And for an agency who is doing development as Cambodia Family Development Services and Oxfam in terms of development work, I think this issue it has to be a main focal point issues, because you cannot do development in a place where landmine is still an issue, and it affects many thousand families, because if landmine are there, families cannot utilize that land. And I think we have to advocate for the demining. We have to advocate for the stop of planting landmines in order for any development to have good sustainability.
The services are targeted towards the most vulnerable families in the area, such as the female-headed households, the disabled and the poorest of the poor. And because so many men were killed in the war, 2/3 of Cambodia's population is female. And in rural areas, 1 in 5 women are widows. The villagers have set up committees where they choose their own leaders, sometimes coming together as a group to discuss their needs and solve their own problems at village level, and gradually they're rebuilding the sense of community that's been lost. John took us to meet one of those community members, Suan Si. Suan Si lost both his legs in a landmine explosion, and the project has helped provide basic materials for his house, which he built himself, alone, along with this water catchment pond.
But in the morning when I went out to look for some food to support my family, I accidentally stepped on that landmine, and in fact it has destroyed 2 of my feet and destroyed my capability to support my families. Then I came to this village, then with the support from the NGOs, I have decided to dig this pond myself, and I dug it completely. Takes me 1.5 months.
So you see, through his own initiatives, courage and determination, Suan Si is an inspiration to his whole community. Now, travel in Cambodia can be exhilarating. You never know what's coming next.
Do you want me to help with this? The tyres? I'll stop the truck.
You see, now Pauline's an expert at changing tyres, and I always sit in the car when ours breaks down, and she gets out and does it. Watch this. Look how good she is. See that? Effortless, isn't it? If life isn't hard enough in Cambodia, what we're trying to make ends meet, bring in a harvest, well, you can always depend on the elements to make it that little bit harder. The rainy season had started in earnest when we were there. Now, floods, unfortunately, are a regular occurrence in Cambodia. When we arrived in Battambang, the river had burst its banks. Again, it might put some people temporarily out of business in the town, but they get some fun about it, splashing about. But for rural communities, the flooding can have devastating effects. We visited Chivit Mai, which means new life. It's a small-scale rural development project. These are the kind of problems we've got here. This is a wonderful project they run. But last night the water came a foot up into the building. The fish pond is flooded, 17,000 fish have been lost. The rice banks are empty. There are no pigs at the moment, and this is one of the most successful projects, so you can see what kind of problems we've got here. This is where it came right across. There's Cambodia, there, right up to the middle of Cambodia. These are the everyday realities of development work, and it's not always a happy story. As their harvest failed yet again, the rice store remained empty. You wonder how people carry on, where they get the spirit to carry on when the odds seem so much against them. But they do. We met with Yot, who's benefited from a small loan from Chivit Mai's credit scheme. This has helped her to get started with her own business, buying and selling vegetables. Now she can support her children. I asked Yot what she felt about landmines.
I know there are a lot of landmines in Cambodia, and I really don't want my children to be affected by them. A lot of people here have come from other areas where they lost their homes, so now they are displaced. I know soldiers use mines to harm the enemy, but I don't want to hear the word enemy in Cambodia. I don't want people from the countries where they produce mines to sell them to Cambodia. It makes it so difficult for the Cambodian people to work and so farm and to live as a whole families.
I think that this landmine just not only exploring on the land, but also exploring in the heart of the people. And the one who never lose their own husband, who never lose their own parent, lose their own children by landmine, they would not know how big level or how strong the suffering of their heart. Many people in Cambodia thinking, praying to the Lord Buddha, please take care of me. But who will take care of you when we do not know where they are, the landmine?
Sue and Safai knows only too well the tragedy of losing a loved one. Her husband was killed by a landmine. She lives here with her 3 children. But having completed a training course with the Mines Advisory Group, she's now able to support her family as a deminer, locating the very weapons that left her a widow. Sue and Safai and the other 200 plus Cambodians trained in mine clearance are taking positive action for the future.
When my husband was killed by mine, I wanted all the mines in Cambodia to be gone because I don't want any of my children or grandchildren to step on a mine and suffer as I have done. I've become a deminer, and I believe any job that a man can do, a woman can do as well, even if other people don't think so. The Mines Advisor Group, they choose a woman like me, a widow with 3 children and no support to train become a deminer. Now I have money to support my family. The first time I was face to face with a mine, I was terrified and very careful not to disturb it. But I followed the rule from my training, and now I am no longer scared.
Of course, it is the children who are the most vulnerable in society. It's a cruel and chilling fact that some mines are produced to look attractive to a normal, inquisitive child. A landmine does not distinguish between the footfall of a soldier and that of a child. As Cambodians go about their everyday tasks of grazing cattle, fetching firewood, how do you keep the dangers of hidden landmines at the forefront of people's minds? The Mines Awareness Programme is reaching out to rural communities with a lively educational show that alerts children to the dangers of landmines.
I've always wanted to see what goes on behind a puppet. Terrific. Pros.
Because this area is full of mines, we do not expect that all these children will escape from the danger. But we hope that through our lessons to the children in this area, at least we can reduce some numbers of the children from being mine victims. Well, I know that you need money. The people that produce mines need money. We can't stop you having money, but please make something else, but not mines. Because this is the voice of Cambodian people who request to the people who produce mines. Please stop from now. You must stop. The problem is the shape of these mines. They look like toys, so children think they are to be played with. For example, this one is small and red, like a fruit. But when a child picks it up, it explodes and harms them.
We met with Sok Eng, a key activist in the Cambodian campaign to ban landmines, and we were delighted to be able to add our support. Sok Eng has gathered 340,000 signatures in Cambodia since the campaign started in August 1994. Now, it's a staggering amount of signatures by any campaigner's standards, but also stands as powerful testimony to the incredible effort and the strength of support from the Cambodian people themselves to put an end to the horrors of landmines. But Cambodia is not alone. The Cambodian signature campaign feeds into the international campaign to ban landmines, which was launched in 1992. This is the combined forces of 350 major international organisations who are calling for a total worldwide ban on the manufacture, the use, export and stockpile of anti-personnel mines.
Save Cambodia from the suffering of landmines. No more landmines in Cambodia. And we can save ourselves by starting the petition and starting by collecting many signatures. And one of the people asked me, you believe that all those signatures will reach the UN, United Nations? This is the father of the world, no? And so I said that, okay, we are not alone now. We have the international campaign. You try to save us by ban your production. We are very grateful to you. We are very grateful for you, for your kind work like that. Only ban landmines. Please come to help us.
As we were walking, I stepped on a landmine. It is difficult to talk about my injury, but I got very angry with the situation because it should not happen to my family. We are a very poor family, and every night before I go to bed, when I look at my children's face, I always cry. And every day also when my children cry asking for food, I don't know what to do. I have to wait for my sister to come back from work so that she can have something to give me to feed my children. Well, I don't want to live anymore, but if I decide to stop living, what would happen to my children? That's why I have to go through the struggles and want to live because of my children's futures. As for me, I am injured already, but I think for my husband also. Maybe one day the same thing will happen to him. And also in the future, if they don't stop sending mines to Cambodia, then what will happen to my children? The same thing will happen to them. So the whole family will be affected by mines.
What the hell does legitimate means of defence mean to a woman like Soma Radi, who's never been a soldier, never fought anyone? Does the UK Ministry of Defence speak on your behalf when they say this? Because they certainly don't speak on mine. I've never seen an arms dealer. I don't know what they look like. Men in grey suits, or where they come from, or how much they charge, or whether they ever see the devastation of the produce they sell. Not even the arms sellers, but the designers and the creators, the technicians, the inventors, the draftsmen, the people, the MOD department who decide that we do need them, whatever country it's in, and say, oh yes, tactically, I think we will be responsible for these things, of course, and we will always support having them because they are smart mines that blow children's heads off. That's pretty smart. But the men in grey suits who actually make the decisions and convince a government that we do need them. There can be no justification for something which is created, designed, laid to blow civilians to pieces. No justification anywhere in the world at any time. And if somebody can convince me that there is, I'm willing to listen.